Well, it really comes down to families. It comes down to what we're doing in our community. And you know me, if you've watched the promos of the show, and I'm all about this, economic gardening, that we have to learn how to come back home, how we need to learn to shop local, to support local, to be here and follow where your dollar is. Some communities, especially ethnic communities, it's been commented that maybe in Brampton, I heard at one time that the economic dollar circulates 8 times before it leaves the community. Because, and I think any ethnic group that ever came to Canada, right back from the beginning of immigration to Canada, that the economic dollar stayed within the community for a while before it departed. We kind of got away from that, I think, as we became 2 or 3 generations into this. That we, all of a sudden, that we didn't worry about where the dollar went. We just said we'd spend it because we want it. And this is now a new time of coming home. We're saying we need our local people. We need people to be successful. We need to create a culture. And big business does not scream that.
No. Actually, I bring that up a few times at municipal council, the town hall, that's supposed to be open and receptive to people gathering, having ideas brought forward.
What country is that?
When I talk about, and when I come to the municipal town hall meetings, and I talk about procurement policies, where municipalities can actually engage in saying that a fair amount of work that's going to be done in our community, we can say then 25% of it will be spent here locally, maybe 40% will be somewhere else outside of the skirts of the communities, and then there'll be other investments that come in, and we know where those investments have come, right? China, Japan,
Correct.
Korea, all these other trade agreements play a huge part too. So in a way, government has shackled us in a way in which where we can make our economies grow and what constraints us. So I come back to the procurement policies. I think it's essential that people understand it and think about it and support it, starting from the municipal level.
It's funny. They say that the weakest form of government is municipal. And yet this is where, and of course, the provincial government does its best to weaken the municipal government. But so there's a lot of directions there. People would be shocked to understand that procurements are not benefiting your neighbor. There's a company right here in Durham region that has never, 99% of the time has never been hired to do sound and lighting and staging. One of the largest suppliers, they go to the GTA.
Yeah.
We're sitting in a building right now where the studio exists. When I walk people from the business community here, they didn't even know it existed. Yeah. Now, there's a culture shift because as economies shift, there's a culture shift. And when that culture shift is where they had to be given the job, now they have to become somewhat entrepreneurial in what they do, and they have to start to learn to look inside their community. I think we're in a time such as that. And it's going to take leadership that says, pay attention. I kind of get from what you're saying is you're telling people just pay attention. Are you satisfied with the fact that as long as you're heard, and that you've had a contribution in that matter, do the polls really matter to you, or do you just need to be heard in order to feel that you've done your job well?
Not so much as heard, but I need to be reflective of what the needs are. And when people are talking, when people are essentially saying, we need to have a cultural shift, I need to listen, I need to think, talk it through, hear exactly what that shift means to people, and be a part of that. So it's more than just being heard. I think being heard is a very small piece of change because it's where people are at and where they're ready and that where you can help find opportunities and openings. And I think that's come from the experience that I've had in education. I have a strong education background in the labor movement.
Right.
And I think that's where I've seen the light go on, the aha moments, is you get it, right? You get what people need and then you respond.
It's interesting you should say this because it does take a leader and a teacher at the same time. And a great leader will teach so that people could be supportive of themselves. When I first invited you to be a guest here, and I really themed it as against all odds, you actually kind of know where the odds are. And the odds are in listening. The odds are in educating. The odds are in gathering people together to make whatever change is possible. I'd say the odds are pretty good that you're doing something that's worthwhile in the community. I'm not really focusing on the win or loss, although that's a really easy way to do that. I guess in sports it's an easy way to keep score. But keeping score is more than that. It's working with a passion, working with a commitment, and working to educate people to help them with change. And you know what? You're one of those people out there doing it.
Well, I know that's my driving force, right?
Yeah.
And that's where I think my own experiences have led me to become more aware of those important parts of becoming a leader, becoming part of your community. And today our MP is not part of that community. They're not seen, they're not heard, they're not participating, and that's what my vision is.
The landscape is different now. The people that maybe supported before are now struggling like they've never struggled before.
That's right.
And maybe there's an opportunity for someone to come right up the middle and ask some really great questions and bring some really wonderful values. And as a person, I can see in your eyes when you're talking that there's a big passion there. And you're not afraid of the fight, and you're not afraid to take a stand. So that's pretty amazing.
No,
So,
I think you just dispel the fear with the first step.
yeah.
You just know it's right,
Yeah.
and you know who you are. Your core belief is about justice. It's
Right.
about people, bringing people back to government, and being there for people. The voice of reason, accountability drives me in a huge way, and knowing that I can take action. I mean, the passion drives all that, but I think you have to really know that this is who you are, and the fear slips away.
Well, thanks for being a guest.
Okay.
Well, that was Trish McAuliffe being a guest here on the Garth Riley Show, and I called the segment Against All Odds. I think I should change it. I think odds are pretty good for this person and the community. We'll see you in the next segment.